Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kristal Magsano, and this afternoon I am going to discuss subtopics under instructional leadership, which is school-based management, and I am also going to tackle school improvement plan. So before I start my discussion, let me state to you my learning objectives. Number 1, define instructional leadership. Number 2, discuss school-based management and its objectives. And 3, explain what is school improvement plan. The dream of every individual is to receive quality education. As future educators, we must learn how to address the problems that our students are experiencing in order for them to have the education that they needed. So in order for a doctor to give the best medicine to certain illness, definitely he would diagnose his patient first in order to arrive at the best medicine that he will give to his patient. So bringing to the concept in schools, before teachers conduct a plan, they must see to it that the real problem has been identified. So to become an efficient and effective teacher, they must also become an instructional leader that creates a secure and safe learning environment and make interventions for the needs of the students. First, let us quickly define instructional leadership. An instructional leadership mindset includes an intense moral purpose focused on promoting deep student learning, professional inquiry, trusting relationships, and seeking evidence in action. That's according to Temperley 2011. In addition, instructional leadership is an important concept for schools because it provides a framework that can be used to evaluate current approaches and practices of leadership. Now, we are going to talk about school-based management, or what we call SBM. SBM is a strategy to improve education by transferring significant decision-making authority from the central office to individual schools. So SBM provides principals, teachers, students, and parents greater control over the education process by giving them responsibility for decisions about the budget, personnel, and the curriculum. It is a strategy to improve education by the centralization, delegation, and empowerment of stakeholders. SBM was implemented in 2001 under Republic Act No. 9155 known as Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. This policy aims to strengthen school-based management by further devolving the governance of education to schools, empowering school teams and personnel, expanding community participation and involvement, and making the delivery of education services to the learners more responsive, efficient, and effective through an enhanced school planning and communication process. SBM provides stakeholders greater control in education by giving them responsibility in giving decisions about the budget, personnel, and curriculum. So the objectives of SBM are: first, strengthen the support system of Department of Education, and number 2, development of a functional management support system for continuing school improvement at all levels. So after we discussed school-based management, now we are going to zero in the concept of school improvement plan, or the SIP. We must remember that SIP is roadmap that lays down some specific interventions that a school, with the help of community and other stakeholders, will undertake within a period of 3 consecutive school years. So it contains the profile of the school and the community. When a school fails to meet federal targets in reading and other sectors in education for 3 years in a row, it is required to produce and implement a school improvement plan. So SIP was designed to address whatever weak areas a school suffers from. The issuance of DepEd Order 44 Series of 2015 entitled Guidelines on the Enhanced School Improvement Planning or SIP process and School Report Card or SRC set the standards on how to conduct planning process in school level. Before you can start making your SIP cycle plan, here is the preparatory phase that you need to undergo as a teacher. First, data gathering. Second, form school community planning team or the SPT. Third, conduct meeting between SPT. And last one, set schedule to begin SIP cycle. So in the first step, gather and organize necessary data. The process of SIP allows us to understand, to get the root cause of the problem. Either we identify the wrong problem or get to the wrong solution. So we must see to it that the real problem is being identified. In gathering data, we must also remember that it must be accurate and updated. So these are the tools for data gathering: School Community Data Template, Child-Friendly School Survey, Child Protection Policy Implementation Checklist, Student-Led School Watching and Hazard Mapping, and lastly, the School Report Card. So after you gather all the data that are needed, the school head must form the School Community Planning Team. SPT are the one who will make priority on how to improve areas and determine what things we need to improve in schools are. It is also important to know that the views of the parents on what are the things that they think that we need to improve in schools are being acknowledged. So in SPT, invite at least 7 stakeholders to become members of the School Community Planning Team. So who are those 7 stakeholders that could be member of the SPT? Of course, the school head as the team leader, student representative, teacher representative, parent representative, barangay or LGU representative, member of Barangay Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Committee, and lastly, the member of School Child Protection Committee. So next step would be conducting meetings between the SPT. So talk about DepEd vision, mission, core values, and division goals. The meeting's goal is that for the members fully understand that have unity in our goal in improving the students' education. In conducting a meeting, it makes sure that everyone is on the same page. It is important to show the real scenario of the school to the stakeholders so that they could give precise interventions. And lastly, set schedule to begin SIP cycle. After data gathering, forming SPT, conducting meeting between SPT, you can now begin the SIP cycle. So in conclusion, the implementation of school-based management or SBM encourages teachers, students, and parents to participate in improving the quality of education. So the School Community Planning Team or SPT is required under the school-based management to produce a school improvement plan in order to ensure the achievement of all learners in order to accomplish the DepEd purpose, emphasizing the stewardship of the school administrators and the personnel of the institution. And lastly, in order to understand the real cause of problem in schools, the school head must know the root of the problem before gathering data. So the school head would then now form school community planning team to act and provide interventions on how the students' education be improved. So that's all for my discussion. I hope you learn a lot. Once again, I am Kristal Magsano. Thank you for listening. Here are my references.